Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Backlog. It's been a couple weeks, maybe 3, but here we are, thanks to Game Master Jason, and we are playing Stalker. Jason, why don't you tell us what we're about tonight? Oh, gotta wet the whistle.
It was perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing on my part. That's me all fucking week.
Well done.
Right, so, yeah. So we're playing Stalker. I picked this game up years ago. Honestly, I picked this up right around the time that you and I were gaming a little bit. Because this is so for the person in the audience. For anyone in the audience who recognizes Stalker as like a brand, you probably recognize it from the video game series, which this is related to in a somewhat semi-roundabout, both technically based on the same thing, which is an old Soviet sci-fi book called A Roadside Picnic, and a friend of mine got me into that, and it's honestly, have any of you read A Roadside Picnic?
I have not.
It's fine. It's what I expected. It's fine. I personally have a somewhat tumultuous interaction with science fiction. I find a lot of it really boring, really dry, really, it's science men doing science for science. And Roadside Picnic is not that. Roadside Picnic is all about, the people falling through the cracks. It's about criminals. It's about, doing what you gotta do to survive. And it's really good. And at its heart, it's about people who live near the zone, which is there was this extraterrestrial visitation that basically just happened, and so, one night to the next, there were these zones on the Earth where essentially it was like nobody has any real recollection or recording of what happened, only really the aftermath of it, where it is assumed that some extraterrestrial intelligence touched down on Earth for a minute, then left behind essentially their garbage. Hence that is where the Roadside Picnic comes in. It's like they touched down for a picnic, and over the course of that left some of their stuff, but their stuff is weird and extraterrestrial and defies all the laws of physics and nature that we know. And so the crew here will be playing stalkers, going into the zone and exploring and finding stuff, and hopefully not getting their entrails turned into their extrails by some vaguely unknown force that they can't see or smell or hear, or things like that. I think it's a cool setting. It's just kind of weird, and yeah, it's some sci-fi that I like.
Cool. Well, I'm Steve Boshear. If you've ever watched this stream before, you've seen me before. And that was Jason. Let's hear from these other two.
Ken.
No, you want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay, sure. It was a holdout. Well, first of all, I would like correction. It is Dr. Fred Octavian. I did not go to 7 years of medical school to be called Mr.
Okay.
He's not calling you Mr. He's just not calling you anything.
yes, I'm Kenny. I'll be playing Dr. Fred Octavian, who is a doctor.
What kind of doctor?
Medical doctor, one who actually writes prescriptions, and in fact, maybe writes too many prescriptions. So he's but a doctor very interested in Mister. Or you can just call me Doc Ock if you want. So. So Dr. Octavian, who has been sort of had his own personal experience and personal run-ins with the visitation, one could say, where sort of personal tragedy is connected to it. And that's what draws him to the zone.
Were you possibly part of the Institute? The whole big, like, semi-government, like, setup that, like, examines and studies the zone?
He
possibly been run out of that due to your excess of prescription writing?
Yes, exactly. That was exactly what happened. You know, I mean, he started writing prescriptions for friends, and it's supposedly like you're not supposed to do that. So, you know, the medical board frowns upon that. You know, so you know,
Whatever.
But yes, that's Dr. Octavian, who was an avid backpacker as well, and a nerd.
Who isn't?
Aren't we all? My name is Mia. I have also been on the stream before. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jason and Kenny, having me along. I will be playing Sinzara Margella. She is basically an athlete and a scavenger who ventures into the zone. Through the activities, she's bumped into and made a few enemies along the way. But she will be doing a lot of athletic things, climbing and getting into places the others cannot. But, she has, her enemies have killed one of her family members, so she's experienced some trauma in that respect, and so she is fearful sometimes when she goes out that she'll be recognized and hunted by these same individuals. Thank you.
And my character is Mike Marathon Core. I am a young man who was growing up in the town of Lower Klamath, California. I was around 12 or 13 when the visitation happened, and I was camping with my father at the time. He ran afoul of a weird bubble and instantly mutated and tried to kill me. I was forced to kill him with the hatchet that I had, and then I ran barefoot for 20 miles to safety in order to clear the zone, which was newly forming while I was running. That's why people call me Marathon. I still live in the area with my mother. And I occasionally take trips in to the zone, and I won't really tell people why, because I don't really have any friends. My mother's disabled and doesn't leave the garage that we rent from someone, but fortunately the landlord is nice and looks in on her when I'm away, making money for us.
Cool. So, do you all know each? So, first of all, a little bit of setup. I've talked to Steve about this a little bit, but you all are supposed to be technically pretty new to the whole stalker lifestyle. Not necessarily the stalker game, but to like being real active, like like maybe you went in a little bit prior to this, but for whatever reason, this is becoming your life. You know, this is like you're becoming a full-time YouTuber. So, but instead of, you know, doing videos on YouTube, you're going into a hostile landscape and looking for shit to make you money. Yeah. So do you all know of each other at all?
I have a feeling that Mike and Cinzara would at least know of each other if we both live in the area, because we have similar proclivities.
Sounds good.
Fred, I don't know.
Yeah. What would be a good connection, if any? I mean,
Remind me, are you from the area where we are setting the game tonight, or are you an import?
I'm more of an import. You know, been bouncing around without a medical license. You know, can't really practice in like real medical clinics. But you know, when you go up into Northern California, and there's parts where people could pay good money for medical care.
I thought Yeti Hill was a spammer at first. He's in there making jokes about our vlog.
Oh.
All right. Yeah, so we probably at least have encountered each other a bit. I guess really what it depends on, I would say, Jason, is what are we getting up to tonight?
Well, let's get to that. So, about how old are y'all? I know Steve has said like early mid-20s for Mike.
Yeah, 22-ish.
Cinzara, about how old do you think you are?
Roughly the same, maybe a little younger, a couple years younger.
I thought I was going to be the hotshot kid of the outfit.
Well, I was gonna say she could be 30.
No, man, it's up to you.
I'm gonna say yeah, make her. Yeah, I'm 30, 32. How about that?
Okay.
Mr. Octavian?
Dr. Octavian? I'm not going to answer until you refer to me by my proper title.
Okay, Mr. Doctor. That's how old are you?
Dr. Octavian probably is, he's about 33, but looks 37. Just because he's worn down and tired.
Okay. Well, you all have been invited to a local, or you all through various contacts locally have been invited to the local one of the local stalker watering holes by a local boss man known as the Goat Sucker. He's like you all have heard of him. People say he's got ties all over to the Institute. You know, he's got underworld ties, he's got cartel ties, but no one's really got anything definite on him. But he's definitely a mover and shaker in the stalker community here. And he's invited you all to his favorite watering hole. Mia, what's the name of this watering hole he's invited you to?
Oh my gosh, put me on the spot there.
Yes.
I want to say like the leaky cauldron, but that is not good.
The rusty bucket.
Yeah, I was gonna say the rusty bucket sounds good. I was looking for something like that, or the muddy rain puddle, or something.
No, I like the rusty bucket. Ooh, what just happened?
Oh, sorry about that. Carry on with your life. That was me. I sent a message. It all turned. Yeah, it was a message appearing. Don't worry about it. Go on with your life.
That one.
I was about to hit send, and I was like, this won't derail everything that's happening, will it?
Not at all. Not at all. Obviously, this will not derail everything that's happening, so I can do this and do this.
I mean, it was more directed at me, but apparently it works. I had a thought about what was happening. I adjusted the file. There you go.
Was it the file type?
Well, I did resave it from a different program. I also cropped it to the correct dimensions. For some reason, it worked for me and you and not 2 other people.
Interesting.
You should send that to me at 2.
I did. It's in the Skype chat.
Yeah, I went to everyone. That's why it popped up on everyone's screen.
Working on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's invited you to the Rusty Bucket. And he just, it's like it's a seedy little fucking hole in the wall. Pretty ramshackle, very bootleg in the bootlegger sense of it. Yay.
All right. Now we all look equally brown and blurry. I have a clarifying question.
Yeah.
In what manner did he invite us? I'm just trying to figure out how Mike would feel about this.
Well, see, here's the thing. How did he invite you, Mike?
Okay. If there's any chance at all that I would go, he would have had to come by the house while I was there. Actually, coming by the house while I wasn't there and talking to my mom would also get me there, but in a much less receptive frame of mind.
What if he sent, like, a note to your house, to your garage?
I probably would have crumpled it up and thrown it away. He could have sent someone else, but a note, like, I don't answer summons.
Well, I mean, it's not a summons, it's an invitation.
Yeah, but
It's someone saying, hey, I've got some work for you.
Okay, I would answer that. Yeah. I'm not socially well adjusted. Invitation just means telling me what to do.
Well, no, I mean, in this case, it's definitely a job offer.
All right, okay. Well, then I am there at the Rusty Bucket, but I'm extra wary because usually I know I need money, but I'm not super keen on doing what people tell me.
Hey, Marathon, you look a little less interested in this event than the others. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, well, I usually only take jobs from people I know. This is, do you know this guy?
Oh, I've crossed paths with him once or twice. He seems to be trustworthy.
I mean,
not 100% sure.
He's got a reputation. It's not the best in every area. I don't know. Well, I'll hear him out. I'll see what he has to say. Who's that guy?
I'm sitting at the end of the bar, popping a pill in and chasing it down with a cheap beer.
That's Dr. Octavian.
Are you up for the job that we're up for?
I don't know. I wasn't told what I was being hired for. So, does someone need a kidney? Or someone selling a kidney?
Well, when you make that crack about someone needing a kidney, an arm drapes around your shoulder from behind, and the goat sucker leans in and says, "Oh, my friend, are you offering?"
Oh no, you surely don't want my kidneys after what I've done to them.
Oh, we shall see. We shall see. Friends, join me. And he motions you back towards a booth in the corner.
All right, I'll go, but I'm gonna, unless someone is like fighting me for this, I'm gonna try to be the last one to sit down so I can be on the outside of the booth.
And for just to be clear, it's a well-lit booth.
That's okay. I still want to be able to get up and run from every situation always.
Dr. Octavian will go in first, then. I mean, clearly he should go in first since he's the most well-educated of the group, so.
Whatever you got to tell yourself, Doc.
Oh, good. I'll just sit right here next to the doc.
Okay.
Do you have any pills for pain, Doc?
Why, yes, I do.
Oh my gosh. Are you just giving those out?
The first one's free.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'll take one though.
All right, I'll give them one each.
All right, I'm wrapping mine up in a little baggie and putting it in my pocket.
All right. I now have 298 more painkiller pills.
I'm saving that for Mom.
Oh wait.
My knees bother me a bit. I'll go ahead and take it.
Friends, I've seen you around. I know you are all dilettantes in this lifestyle. But I wish to bring you in fully into the fold of being stalkers. I have a job that you would all be perfect for, if you would hear me out.
Sure.
I'm listening.
Wonderful. He produces 3 sheets of paper. Steve, you have my map queued up.
Yep.
And hands each of you a copy of this map.
Hold on, let me get the logo out of the way.
But it doesn't have a book in front of it.
Wrong one. There we go.
Friends, recently the area down here showing the Lower Klamath, the town of Lower Klamath, or Klamath, sorry. The town of Lower Klamath has the satellite photos of it have recently been showing it again. It had been for years shrouded in a mysterious anomaly, and now we can see it. And I would like what I'm requesting of you all as employment is to basically, I need you to take a Hobbit holiday there and back again, and let me know. You were each being provided with a map to annotate as you will, and I want to know what the route there entails. I have very much confidence in your ability to get this done. You all come highly recommended, even if you don't know from where. And the trip itself, it shouldn't take more than a few days, maybe a week tops, if you were unlucky in the anomalous terrain that is not prevalent, that is not present on the map proper. And any artifacts you find along the way, I will be happy to move for you when you bring them back.
I got one question. You said we all came highly recommended?
Obviously, I would not want you here otherwise.
Who gave you my name?
Mike, which one of your other various small job employers do you want to have recommended you?
Billy the Fish.
Obviously, because you've done such a good job for them.
I'm just portraying an air of distrustfulness, just on principle. Like, I don't actually have a problem with Billy the Fish giving this guy my name.
It is fine. You have no need to trust me. But I should hope that my money will talk. Because in addition to helping you move any artifacts you find along the way, there is also a, let's say, $1,000 payment each upon return.
Now you're speaking my language. The lure of loot and cash, I'm in.
All right. Well, why don't you give us a little time to talk this over amongst ourselves and make a plan.
Excellent. Then please, if you haven't taken them already, he moves them. I mean, these are like photocopied maps.
Mm-hmm.
They look nicer than the one here.
It's a satellite photo, right?
Yeah, it's basically a satellite photo that's been mocked up a little bit to highlight what's shown here. But if you haven't taken them already, he pushes them out to you all across the table and says, "Take them."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll grab mine.
Make your plans, and just know that I need to know what to expect going from from here to there and there to here.
Understood. Well, how do we contact you when we get back?
Oh, friends. I am generally here. This is a great place to contact me.
Oh, good. Guys who hire contractors and hang out in restaurants are always super trustworthy.
No, I mean, this is pretty solidly a dive bar.
Oh, okay.
At best, you could maybe call this an eating establishment. It's got some really greasy bar food.
All right.
Real light light kitchen in the back, but it's mostly for booze.
Mike's only been allowed into bars for like 6 months, so it's all confusing to him what you're supposed to call it.
I've had rat on rotisserie. Any food is good for me.
Because I'm young. I haven't been allowed into bars until recently.
Okay.
I guess
you are all more than welcome here when you return.
All right.
Huh? So, looking at the map, is there like a clear delineation where the sort of the zone begins? Is it that perimeter line?
So, funny you should ask that.
Right.
Yeah, it's like literally the perimeter is the Institute perimeter you're going to have to cross.
Okay.
That's an old highway.
All right.
Literally everything to the right of that,
mm-hmm.
That's all zone.
Okay.
The zone is going to extend like far beyond lower Klamath.
Gotcha.
But he just wants this route.
So this is called the Klamath Falls Zone, but technically the town of Klamath Falls is outside of it.
It is, no bullshit. I couldn't really tell you from reading it in the book. So I kind of decided that, yes, the actual site of Klamath Falls is just outside of the zone.
Yeah.
And because it basically describes it as primarily in California. And if you see that 161 route there,
yeah,
That is pretty much the Oregon-California border.
Copy. Yeah, but that makes sense. If that's the biggest town in the area, that's what they're going to name the thing.
Right.
Well, that and like the whole region south of this is the Klamath region.
Gotcha.
It's like a big bunch of national parks and shit.
All right. So we got a rest stop. We got a. So we got a couple of roads. We got a river. An abandoned mine. And there's the what's at the end of the dotted line is not marked. There's some sort of object there to the right along the trail.
It's the exit of the abandoned mine.
Oh, got it.
As well as it has been reported in the past.
Gotcha. All right.
It's a victim of me having way too much trouble putting this map together.
Oh no! It was no.
No,
I get the map.
it was supposed to have like a cool landmark,
Gotcha.
and I thought of the abandoned mine, and then went, ugh, I know I want this to spit out somewhere, and
Okay.
so that's basically what's going on there. There's an abandoned mine here, and there is supposedly a underground route that spits out closer to that end of the 161.
So the question is, do we want to go the most obvious route down the main byway, but potentially I don't know. We know nothing about the zone, so whether or not, like, if there would be anything that would preclude us from just taking the most direct route.
Well, okay, you are going to know, like, I mean, you probably haven't been super far into the zone.
Right.
I mean, the zone has, like, legacy, and it has legend.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you know there is weird shit in the zone. Like, not necessarily everywhere, but enough that any spot on this map is potentially
Deadly.
hazardous.
However, even though we haven't been in very far, there is existing knowledge of the area from before then. And my character in particular would be researching routes and landmarks in there for years. So yeah, we probably have a good idea amongst us of what the layout should be. I think it's probably a bad idea to go through the mine. Because the one thing we don't want is to not be able to run away.
I mean, even not counting the zone, abandoned mines are super dangerous on their own. So you throw in temporal distortions or weird alien artifacts, then it's like super dangerous. So yeah, I agree.
Yes, I agree as well. Anything that lacks an escape route is not for me.
The river, which direction does it flow?
Okay, so there's one semi-important thing I forgot to put on this map. Left is north.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I figured that because I know where California and Oregon are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this river is primarily going to be flowing
Towards the curly part or away from the curly part?
away.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be flowing towards the closed off portion of the snaky line that makes it up.
Okay.
Technically, because it's supposed to continue up into Klamath Falls and come down from there.
Okay. So we could probably take a watercraft of some sort and go part of the way, but that might have a similar drawback to the mine, in that if something does happen while we're on the water, we're going to have a harder time running away. So I don't see that there's anything that makes sense other than just take the byway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we have access to satellite imagery of this new exposed territory, surely there are others. There may be rivals heading that way.
Ooh, good point.
Maybe it's a good idea to wait for some of them to go ahead and show us where we need to avoid.
Sounds good. Or we could just travel off the byway just a bit instead of directly down it.
I have tried getting to Lower Klamath before, and I did take the byway, and I can tell you it's pretty dangerous. I didn't get that far. I had to turn around after just a few miles and barely got out with my life. So, yeah, I think we follow the byway, but we don't walk on the byway.
Mm.
Cool. Do y'all mind if I call for a quick pee break right now?
Do it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Keep planning. Your planning is good. I will ask about it when I get back.
All right.
The other idea I had is, depending upon how long this travel could take us, is things like food and water. So, maybe, depending upon, taking your idea, Mike, if we follow the byway, but on the side of closer to the river, maybe sort of follow the river until it turns westward.
Yeah. I was going to suggest that, but we should not drink from that river unless it's a last resort. There's so much weird stuff in there. I don't want to know what happens to the water.
Okay. I have a water collector. I bought one. So in terms of equipment, I have just to let you know, I've got binoculars, a framed backpack, a lighter, tent, water bottle, multi-tool, some iodine, all the medical gear we'll need, a water collector, a Geiger counter, a mobile phone, and a GPS receiver. So we should be able to track some of our movement. And then if we get bored, I brought this really interesting new role-playing game that I bought.
Okay, that's nerdy as hell.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, your cell phone and your GPS, very unlikely to work. I mean, we haven't had satellite photos of this place in 13 years. We can bring them along. They might be dead weight.
Sure.
Like I said, we're going to need a lot of our carry weight to be devoted to food and water, because we're going to want to bring in, if possible, everything that we're going to consume in there.
So yeah, I've got some money. I can buy some more water bottles. And, I have a water collector, so I don't know. It kind of sounded like, depending upon what the source is, the water collector can be okay, but it also could be polluted, depending upon.
Does it collect water out of the air? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, let me read. I was just looking at it a second ago. Let me see. Oh, jeez. And of course, I'm away from that page when I need it. I think it's out of the air. Let's see, water collector. Let's see. Here, what? Come on.
Page 79.
Yeah, sorry, I was just scrolling very slowly on me.
Yeah, it uses heat transmission and condensation to collect as much as 5 to 10 liters of water a day out of the air in the zone. Caustic clouds or other gaseous quasi-chemicals may still contaminate it.
Ah. Okay.
So it's still better than drinking out of the river, but there's always a chance. We just have to make sure that the air is clear. So I don't know of a way to detect caustic.
Well, if your eyes and or skin start burning, you're probably in a caustic cloud of some sort.
Right.
Best way to do this is take a night and leave in the morning when we're fresh, ready to go.
Yep.
Gather our supplies and venture forth in the morning.
So Jason, what we decided is we're going to walk on the river side of the byway.
Okay.
We're going to avoid drinking from it unless we absolutely have to, but if we do have to, it's there.
Sounds like a pretty solid plan.
Yeah.
The leaving in the morning is probably a good idea. As well, what means of egress are you planning on doing or using to get into the zone?
My impression of it, and if that's not the case in this specific area, you can let me know, but my impression of the borderland is that it's actually not that closely guarded because the zone is kind of its own best guard. But if that's the case, then we can probably just, walk a few hundred yards away from whoever's watching the place and cross there.
Well, that's okay. So the assumption's basically going to be that there are guard posts. I mean, all along the perimeter, like encircling it, because they don't want people getting in.
Well, how close together are they?
Well, so before I get to that, this is stuff you would know. That generally during the day, the guards are going to be more focused outward from not letting people in. At night, they are actually usually more focused inward because they don't want the shit that's in there getting out.
Okay.
How do you normally get in? Like it's I mean, there is probably some kind of fence running along that perimeter. There are guard towers on it.
Yeah. So this is
how do you normally get in?
This is well, let me tell you what my impression is, and I can come up with something else if this doesn't work. But This is 101 kilometer wide zone. The sheer manpower that it would take to have eyes on even a fraction of the entire perimeter is staggering. Like, there's got to be gaps. There just has to be.
Yeah.
So I imagine I just go to one of those gaps and either find or cut a hole. Probably I have one that I've used a bunch of times, and go in that way.
Well, one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is because there's probably going to be where this is. It's going to be a little bit more guarded, just because
of the road,
close to the road, to the borderland,
right?
But how far out of the way are you willing to go?
I don't necessarily get a sense of how many miles are how wide is the river, but I think it's probably fine to go to the other side of the river before we cross and then go around it once we're inside. Does that make sense to you guys? Because if they're all by the road, we can get 4 miles away from the road and probably find our way through.
Like, are you thinking like crossed by the T of perimeter sort of thing?
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Cut back eastward or something. Yeah.
Double back. Okay.
Follow the river to the head of the headwaters, basically.
Would that be far enough to be clear of where the visible guards are?
Well, okay. What I'm what I'm curious about now. So you're crossing a little. Sorry, this completely throws me with my map. It's my fault. So you want to cross like maybe a mile or two west of that main road cutting through. Are you how far like the so since I've got this river all wrong and I've got it all in the zone and I'm kind of sticking to that, how close are you willing to like stick to that perimeter to get around the river? Or are you planning on coming in, going further into the zone and then crossing the river?
I think we take advantage. This is my suggestion. I think we take advantage of the fact that they tend to look outwards in the daytime. We cross where there aren't any guards in the daytime, and then we use that daylight to go around the river before we get too far away for them to see us. But it's a mixed bag, right? If they do turn around and see us, like they'll see us more easily because it's daytime.
I mean, no, I think that's considering that this is like also a lot of the blank space on this map is pine trees. Like you should have some cover, and yeah, that sounds like a pretty solid plan.
But does it sound like a solid plan to Fred and Sinzara?
Yeah, because this area is very mountainous too, right? I mean, we're Northern California, Oregon border.
So it's gonna be pretty mountainous. If it's not, other than that gap right at the bottom, where I just got really sick of drawing mountains.
Right.
But I figured y'all weren't really going there anyway. It's actually, I mean, it's going to be a little hilly, but it's still fairly flat land. Mm-hmm. But it's got, it has, nature has somewhat recovered it, and it is pretty, I want to say dense with pine trees and like pine foliage or pine forest.
Well, yeah.
Probably denser as it goes in.
Okay. Yeah, my thought is just that I think what we were saying earlier is so like cutting across that perimeter by the T of perimeter, and then heading. We could probably use the sound, maybe of the water of the river, or knowing sort of heading straight towards the river, and then once we hit it, we could use the river as our orientation for navigation, right? Like we just know that we're on the left bank of the river. We turn and then we follow said river, sort of making a loop back close to the perimeter. Like you said, Steve, maybe it potentially puts us in more visibility, but the river I think is down, at the lowest point, so we probably will be sort of out of sight. We could use the river and then as we loop around, once we get to the headwaters where we know the river ends, we could just turn left until we hit the road again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm just curious, like, as we don't know what sort of landmarks or, while we have this satellite imagery from above, how do things look on the ground? It may be more difficult to orient than normal.
Yeah, it sounds like a good plan. Breach the fence, stay in the tree line,
and then that rest stop may or may not be a good stopping point. So it could either be a place where we run into other people, which could be bad, or it could have supplies that are left over that could be good. Marathon, have you ever made it to the rest stop?
No.
I will answer that for you. No, you have not.
Yeah, I didn't imagine that I had. I said I only got in a few miles, and I imagine that's several miles in.
I'd say it's a few miles. I'd say it's maybe a little more than a few miles, but like getting a little more than a few miles in is,
Hard.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Unless anyone else has anything to say, do we want to skip ahead to departure?
Nope, I'm good.
All right.
So I actually want to try and do this as a challenge.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's challenging. I mean, the border guards. The perimeter is there for a reason. The guards are there for a reason. But like this was stuff I was supposed to figure out like over the last week, and I have just been stupidly burnt.
No problem.
So, spread of the results. That.
Yeah, I mean, I think 50% of the Tales from the Backlog games we're sort of winging the rules.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, these rules are pretty wingy as is.
Right.
I just I want to use this as a really easy like first challenge,
Sure.
just so it has, because I kind of get like, so I have a really good idea of all of like the variables. When I start asking you stuff about your plan, like it should be pretty simple to put down, easy peasy. There's just so let's pretend I'm doing it like this. So yeah, ideas good. Do you have gear sufficient for this? Like, what kind of gear do you have that you are going to use to implement this plan?
I possess a rifle with a scope.
Okay.
And
How are you going to use that rifle?
well, it's not much use until we're in the zone. I don't plan to shoot any guards.
Yeah.
But it's potentially the main thing that I use it for is the scope.
Yeah.
To see ahead, but just in case. I don't have any like food or water on my sheet. I kind of assume we would just buy some before we leave.
No, I mean, okay, so the plan here is more about specifically crossing that perimeter
Okay.
without complication.
All I need are my lucky boots.
I've got a multi-tool, so if we need to somehow, cut through a fence or something.
Okay.
Yeah, they do repair it every now and then.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got the scope, and I am in the habit of taking the scope off the rifle so that someone doesn't see me looking through it and shoot me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have my Geiger counter going to make sure we're not walking right into a radioactive pocket on the other side.
That's good.
That's good.
I don't really know how much use these things will be, but I do have a Bowie knife. I have caffeine pills. I have a throwing knife. And a bouncy ball. Little red one.
Use this to distract anything that might be chasing us, or sneak past things with it.
Yeah, I play with it as like a fidget toy, like a nervous habit. I just bounce it off things. Steve McQueen style.
So, Senzara, what kind of gear are you bringing into this?
We've got like a tent, binoculars, some climbing gear, wire cutters.
So we definitely have a lot of cutting implements.
Yeah.
And a small packet of tools that she's got some machinery knowledge.
I also have binoculars, so at least, with two of us, we can probably do a pretty good lookout.
Oh, I read right past this on my sheet because it's my hideout, but it's technically equipment. I know of an old hunter's blind in the borderland. It's really close to the zone. Nobody else goes there, and because it's a hunter's blind, they might not see it if they did go by it. So that's kind of where I hide out and stash stuff sometimes.
Nope, that sounds helpful. Where would you say that hunter's blind is, Mike?
Well, given the limited amount of borderland on the map, I'd say it's somewhere. It's not in sight of the zone, because there's obviously a lot of trees around anyway. But it might be just inside of the zone, in sight of the zone if there weren't any obstructions. And I would probably put it pretty close to where we're going to cross in terms of east-west.
Okay.
So it's maybe the kind of place we could go to and hide out in until we feel like it's safe to go.
No, that's so. I mean, I am as a GM. I like to be pretty open with my. These are the numbers I'm thinking, and these are the numbers I'm working with. I'm not really big on obfuscating a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So I was kind of looking at this as challenging in its difficulty. And honestly, like, your idea is really solid. You have a lot of tools to cover it, and like I think you've explained it really well. I'm not sure if there's a ton of. I mean, is there anything really interesting that you think might happen on your way through the perimeter? For any of you?
Mm.
Because, I mean, as is, you've got it. Like, you're making it across. I'm just curious if any of y'all had, like, you were thinking, like, oh, but maybe this sort of thing might happen. But you don't have to.
I mean, no, I don't really have anything unless...
Because, I mean, you've got each other's back really solid. I mean, straight down to, like, having two sets of telescopic eyes. You've got gear for it. You got the motivation. You got the tools. Yeah.
I guess if there was something that's gonna that needs to happen that hasn't yet, it's gonna be a marathon questioning why the heck Dr. Octavian is here. Because you don't look like you're much in the wilderness, and I don't know. Like, you came highly recommended. Why?
I know people.
I know some people too.
I don't know there, Mike. You don't seem to know a lot of people, though.
Well, I wouldn't want you to be a liability, Doctor. Are you sure you're up for this?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Dr. Fred, why are you here?
So
What-
Dr. Fred,
Yeah.
what was that?
I was going to say, what expertise are you bringing to this endeavor?
Well, so Dr. Fred is definitely a doctor, whether or not he has his medical license or not. I just don't forget that. And besides being a medical doctor, he is clearly a man of means. So all his backpack equipment looks brand new, right? Like it hasn't been used at all.
Yeah, that's what
Like,
prompted the
just
question.
bought it.
Right. Like just bought it. Like as if a guy who had like $2,000 lying around just went to like a REI store and just grabbed everything and not quite sure whether or not he needed. Like some salesman talked him into buying a Geiger counter. Why? I don't know. You may need it. But at the same time, definitely you could see that Dr. Octavian is very interested in examining what's in the zone, right? So like he seems eager to get over there. He doesn't really have a pure trepidation. Sort of, he's nervous, like of course anyone would be trying to cross the perimeter, but he also seems kind of driven to go over there.
Well, what's this about xenology and agents and inorganisms?
Well, like in a past life, Dr. Octavian, was hired to apply his medical knowledge in looking at inorganisms and stuff. But that was the past. We don't talk about that so much.
So in an organism, like maybe some sort of set of long metal tentacles that attach to your body that you control with your mind, that kind of thing?
Sure, yeah. I mean, any sort of, he's interested in organics.
Maybe the kind of thing that you could easily defeat a superhero with?
Yeah.
I named Peter.
But if I could find some alien arms and, sure.
Yeah. I like to imagine it took you way too long to get what we were saying.
Yes. It took me a second.
in game as well.
Yeah.
Just from the GM end, that since I keep trying to reference you guys as character sheets because I cannot for the life of me remember what you have on them. I mean, you have, like, Dr. Fred has contacts, and he has some, like, apparently when he was working for the Institute, did have experience with the xenobiology and the inorganisms that exist in the zone.
But the question is he telling us that?
Well, that's what No? Okay.
As long as you can patch me up if I get hurt, then yeah, you're definitely welcome.
I mean, he's got the painkillers, which we might need. I just hope he can keep up.
Right.
Yeah, that one did a really fine number on my knee last night. I may want some more of those.
All right, yeah, I'll give him one more each. So I'm down to 295.
Yeah, there's no such thing as knowing people in the zone.
No, I don't.
Once you're in there, everyone you know is outside of it.
Yeah. Yeah, the agent contacts I want to save in case. That's going to be his last ditch effort to try and get help.
Okay. All right.
Cool. Yeah. So y'all. So y'all go follow. You get in decent. It's a pretty easy. It's pretty. I mean, obviously, it's pretty easy to get in. You had a plan. You executed that plan well. You had the tools for it. You knew what you were doing. You're able to make it to the river pretty decent. Like, I mean, easy peasy. You've got your binoculars and your scopes, so you're able to keep an eye on the perimeter line and the guard posts on there as you're coming around that river bend up to the byway.
All right.
Yeah, so you get up there. You're basically following along the west side of the byway, but not on the byway.
Yeah, I'd say we're probably staying close enough that we won't lose the byway, but at the same time out of sight of it. So we'll take every few minutes or so we'll just veer to our left and make sure we're still following the road.
Okay. Like, how far down do you want to go, or how far along this byway do you want to go with that?
Our plan, as discussed, was to at least stay on this side of it for the length of the river until the river turns away.
So down by that V.
Yeah, down by the V in
Okay.
Volcanic, yeah.
Okay.
And at that point, I don't see any reason to... If we've gotten there without incident, I don't see any reason to veer off. But we would have to cross one of the two roads at some point.
No, that's... yeah.
Have we gotten there without incident?
That's... What sort of precautions are y'all taking? Anomalous precautions. So I mean, I would say this is probably like a 6-7 mile hike going that far in. But the path along the road is, I mean, at this point, it's pretty overgrown. And what are you doing to make sure you're not getting... What are you doing to make sure you're not running afoul of the zone?
Well, I've got 2 in my zone ability, and I have both Sixth Sense and Pathfinder. So I imagine the best I can do is to just go slowly, keep my eyes and ears open, and in addition to standard woodsman type stuff, keeping your eyes and ears open, which I also have the woodsman ability in fitness. Just go slow, pay attention, don't run into tall grass without a stick or something in your hand, and maybe a more zony precaution is to every now and then just throw a stone ahead of me and see if anything happens to it.
Do you want to have taken the somewhat standardized zone tool for doing that?
I didn't know there was one. I must have missed that.
It's a nut with a bit of fabric tied to it.
Heck yeah, that's exactly what I would do.
And you'd probably have a few of them.
Yeah.
Just in case. This is something from the book. It's from the... I mean, if you get a chance to watch the movie Stalker, it's slow and kind of boring, but good. And some people died from it. They shot in the Chernobyl area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It seems like a great idea.
It's for some really impressive shots.
All right. Well,
But yeah, that's okay. So if you follow along, you're taking decent precautions. You pass by where that rest stop is, like around maybe a little bit before where that rest stop is. You can probably stop worrying about the perimeter guards catching you. They're still there, or like you can still in your scope and binoculars, you can still see that perimeter line, but it's fairly distant, and it's creeping up on being horizon. Like, people probably aren't looking for you this deep in.
Yeah, and what would they do if they saw us? You know, they're not going to come in.
They might make a note of it, but at this point, you're probably pretty safe from that. Yeah.
We were going to investigate the rest stop, right? So maybe we can hang out at the tree line and scope those out with our binoculars and scope.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's see. I think the other thing, precaution-wise, I've always got the Geiger counter out, making sure we're not walking in towards any radiation, but also looking an eye out on the ground for signs of, footprints, other people, wildlife, or signs of organisms that have traveled through this area.
Well, there's no. I mean, you don't see any real signs of life.
Okay.
At least not for. I mean, are you pretty much looking at it like across from the tree line across the road,
right,
to the rest stop?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. It looks like a pretty standard highway rest stop. Obviously, there's no one there. You don't see any signs of life. There is a eerie light that seems to be emanating from one of the restrooms, possibly. It's not easy to make out, but you can tell that there is some light movement in one of the buildings. Light in the sense of illuminated, like, there is illumination that is moving within one of the buildings.
So, in the terms of our deal, like, he wants to know of dangers, right? So, to a certain extent, we have to.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So, how close do we want to get to this? Because there's clearly something here.
I mean, I could just shoot into the building and see if the moving stops.
True. It could be other stalkers, although we don't necessarily know if they're not likely to be friendly.
The sound of your rifle could draw others to us. So.
The chat is encouraging us to just walk on in.
You can sneak over, as I am wearing camouflage clothing.
Oh.
All right.
We should have bought walkie-talkies. Can I retcon that?
No, but what I'll do a bunch of signals that you guys don't understand.
Right.
Yeah, I've got to use some cuneiform flags.
Yeah.
I made them up, and I only use them with my imaginary partner.
Right. Bounding Overwatch.
So Sinzara's sneaking up. What happens then?
Yeah, approaching the rest stop, it seems quiet. There's the sound of the wind, and not a lot else as you're approaching it. The closer you get, the more it looks like a fucking rest stop. There's There's like essentially a couple buildings. There's the larger like toilet structure building, and then off to the side of that is a smaller like snack vending machine area.
Mm-hmm.
The weird light the weird light you saw is definitely coming from the toilet structure, and it just seems to be running the length of it and back, just back and forth.
Oh, like the front of Knight Rider?
Yeah, but not. I mean, maybe not that fast.
Okay.
But yeah, it's essentially, it seems to be almost patrolling the inside of the toilets.
And in terms of the condition of this rest stop, are we talking? Does this look like it's been abandoned for like 15 years, or does this look like relatively recently abandoned?
I mean, it looks like it was probably abandoned about 13 years ago.
Okay.
When the visitation hit.
So the chance of finding some preserved Twinkies is really low, is what you're saying.
Yeah, those are how close are you getting to this place right now?
I imagine that I was still across the street and Cinzara was sneaking up. Dr. Octavian, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm back in it with binoculars, watching the whole thing.
Okay, so that's. I mean, you all could see in relay that the snack area where the vending machines are is pretty overgrown. The machines you can see from this angle look pretty busted. And honestly, there really isn't any leftover food there anyway.
Gotcha.
Almost essentially, it looks like whenever people passed by here, they probably just smashed this place up, took what they could, and kept moving with it.
I sure did.
Yeah.
That said, the toilets, not really overgrown. They don't seem to have any real plant life growing on them. Whereas the snack area, I can remember words I've said, it's definitely got like just plant life on it. It's kind of moldy now. I mean, there's not vines, but I mean you could almost say there's grass growing off it.
Gotcha.
Because I can't think of like real plants right now. Not that I'm super well versed in plant life.
But the kind of plants that grow up between cracks in the sidewalk, right? Only more of
that
them.
stuff, or just stuff that would like grow off of whatever the rubble that is left over.
Like ivy or...
Yeah.
Okay.
The toilets, though, are definitely untouched.
Okay.
Well, realizing that's sort of suspicious, that glowing light.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep my distance, but I don't know if there's some place I can hide and get a better look inside at what the light might be.
Not there. I mean, the light you're seeing, or like the light you're perceiving, is essentially coming in through like a ventilation, ventilation windows at the top of this structure. Not the top, but excuse me while I mark like three places in this book. Like not the top, but like the top.
Okay. The upper part of the wall.
Yeah, like there would be like ventilation bits there.
Okay.
And so where the roof is shading that, you can see the light passing back and forth.
And he said it's blue color, right?
Yeah, it is definitely blue-colored light.
This is kind of pushing my buttons a bit because of my past traumatic experience. So I'm definitely not crossing the street myself, and if I can get Cinzara's attention, I'm trying to wave her back. I don't want you to go further towards the bathroom. and try and see, and I want you to just move on.
So I keep looking back over my shoulder and like, food, no, and then like get a look back and I see you waving towards me, and I'm crouching and backing up away from it,
Okay.
and not turning my back on the building until I'm well away from it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I really don't want to run into any more mutants. Or creatures of any sort that are residents of this zone. If we can avoid it by just not going into a glowing bathroom, then that's what we should do.
Dr. Octavian, while watching the light through with the binoculars, is going to time how long it takes for it to seem to go back and forth, and trying to see if there's any consistency to that,
Oh, you're trying to see if it's mechanical or not.
Right. If it's mechanical, or if it's just is it like a spinning light sort of thing? Like, is the movement clockwork, right? Is it, taking exactly 2 seconds each time, or is it kind of like a little bit off?
I'm gonna say that it is not like clockwork.
Okay.
But it does seem to be a bit like it feels like the light is patrolling.
Right.
You don't really get an animalistic vibe off of it.
Gotcha.
But it definitely, like, it's.
So there's movement to said light, so it's not like perfectly at the same sort of level or interval of pacing back and forth, is what you're saying too. Like something would be.
I would say it's
carrying the light.
Its patrol pattern.
Right.
Seems maybe a little irregular.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to it doesn't seem to leave the structure. But it's not necessarily just making a straight point A, point B, point
right.
A, point B.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Sinzara, are you coming back to us, or are you ignoring my advice?
I was backing away to return to you both.
Okay. So, then when you get here, I will say what I said a minute ago, that if we can avoid trouble by just not going in the bathroom, then let's not go in the bathroom.
Yeah, we can note it down. Just, note to Goatsucker, if you're going to travel this way, make sure to bring some empty water bottles to pee. Do not go to the bathroom at the rest stop.
Yeah, or you can pee against a tree like people do when they're in the wilderness all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We're at about 10 o'clock. Is this a good spot for our break?
Yeah, this is a fine spot for the break.
Okay, let me go grab something.
All right. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you're still here when we come back. I see Sarah. I see Cold Embrace. I see us. But we're glad you're here. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Welcome back to Tales from the Backlog. We are still stalking across the zone. I feel like we're stalking in the sense of like just walking with a big stride, not so much just like we're not really stalking anyone or anything.
Now, and I'm wondering, like, if this blue light is like some sort of, blue urinal cake come to life,
It's alive.
Stocking the bathroom stalls to ensure they're clean.
Anyone ever tell you you're weird as fuck, Mr. Fred?
Dr. Fred. But you can call me Doctor.
Okay.
Dr. Fred, but you can call me Doctor.
You can call me Doctor if you want.
Mr. Chore is fine.
Yeah, so y'all are just going to be continue heading south along the along the byway?
Yeah, I think so. We'll make note of, in a notebook about the rest stop. Avoid rest stop bathroom.
Yeah.
Suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, really, if he wants to know how to get somewhere safely,
Yeah.
our job is not to investigate every dangerous thing, but to get there safely and tell him how we did it.
Right.
Okay. Nope, that's... Yeah, I know. Cool. So you get about... So you keep traveling south, and you're getting about halfway between where the rest stop is and where that V and Volcanic Legacy Byway is.
Okay.
And yeah, you're moving forward. I know. It's okay. Everything's fine. Like you keep going, or you're going, and you're doing a regular toss, making sure there's nothing in front of you, and you toss one of those nuts. It goes. I mean, about how far ahead are you throwing these?
I would probably say about 3 meters.
Okay. Yeah, you get to a point, you throw one, and it gets most of the way along that 3-meter arc, and then just vanishes.
I stop.
Okay.
I find something else to throw, not one of my precious cloth nuts, but something like lying on the ground, a stone or a dirt clod or whatever is here. And I throw it in a slightly different direction, like off to the side. So still forward, but not to the exact same spot.
Yeah. No, that's same thing happens.
I will now throw something directly to my left.
Leave it. No. I know you woke up, but leave it. Stop chewing on that. Calm down.
Where do those things go when they vanish? Do you have any idea, Mike?
Someplace we don't want to go.
What is the? Is there like loose dirt?
Well, I mean, you're off the road, right?
Yeah.
Amongst in the tree line.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's probably not much. Like, if you're down, not like right along there at this point, the river's running pretty close to the road.
Yeah, we're between the two.
Bunch of gravel lying around.
Well, because I'm thinking like if there's a bunch of pine needles, rocks, gravel.
Yeah.
Just scooping up a whole handful of it and just tossing it in a spread.
Yeah.
To identify
Like
the
a big
river.
arc. Yeah, good plan.
So
Okay,
yeah,
so
we do that. We toss things
like directly to your left.
Yeah.
It goes sailing, clumps on the ground.
Okay.
If you're picking up like just a bunch of loose just debris and tossing it shotgun style in front of you.
Yeah.
Hold on. I want to look at something here. You know, well, looking at your abilities, I don't think you really have as good an arm as Mike does. And Mike's also been throwing stuff that's a little more, a little denser. your shotgun of debris doesn't make that full 3 meters.
Oh, gotcha. Because you said it was 3 meters away. Oh, yes, that's pretty far away. Got it. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely makes it like toss that. It'd be like, sorry, my capacity for spatial imagination is poor.
No. It makes sense.
It gets maybe like 1 meter away, and before it all kind of dissipates onto the ground.
Right.
Guys, I think what we need to do is leave some kind of landmark here that we can tell the client about, so that he knows to travel to the west of the road this far, but when he sees the landmark, to stop.
Like a stack of rocks or some twigs jammed into the ground.
Yeah, I don't suppose anyone has any like neon spray paint.
No.
Is there a tree reasonably close to where we're standing that I can just carve something into with my Bowie knife? As if so, I will carve, stop, go left.
So there are trees,
Oh, I don't like how you said that.
but they're on the other side of the road.
Okay. Is it just grass and dirt here, essentially? Maybe some gravel and that's it? Okay.
Pretty much.
Like, we need to leave something, or whoever comes after us is going to die right here.
Can we
Yeah.
scrounge up a couple larger rocks to stack there? It's kind of like a warning post. Oh, no.
We can do that. I don't trust that someone would necessarily see it if we did.
Understood.
But if that's all we can do, that's all we can do.
Yeah.
I would probably, because of my woodsman skill, have a fairly decent sense of how far we've traveled since the rest stop. So we can at least say, go this far and start looking for the rocks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, remember, this map is not even the map.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
This is a poor representation of the map.
Okay.
The map you have would have a lot more just.
Oh, so we can literally
more fine detail on it.
mark where we're standing on the map. I forgot we had those. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get an exact mark.
Sure.
Right.
You've got a decent idea that you're about like halfway between, probably about halfway between the rest stop and Kino Road there.
Ooh, I know. Does my GPS receiver actually pick up a signal in the zone here?
Describe your GPS receiver to me.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me read the what it says. So it's a small device that shows map coordinates accurately to within a meter. But it does say, for the most part, it does not function inside the zones because it cannot get a signal. But you can still accurately measure where you entered the zone and use that with pre-visitation maps.
No, with that, like, this rest stop is definitely a marker.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would be able to do a pretty solid, decent
measurement of
this far from this point.
Right.
Sort of measurement.
Right. Okay. So at least we can say X amount of meters around down from the rest stop. Avoid right-hand side of, that would be the west bank of the road. There is vanishing anomaly.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Although, at the same time, we also need to know, for our own sake of forward progress, where said edges of anomaly are so we can bypass it. So how should we figure that out?
Well, I think our throwing stuff plan has been working so far. Let's just walk walk wherever things don't disappear.
Okay. So I mean, I don't want to speak for y'all, but are you crossing the road?
It very slowly, continuing to throw things and see if they disappear. That's what I would say we should do.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Because here was my thought. Is the plan? Although I don't have as good of an arm, but if we do the sort of throw dust up in the air as we approach, wherever said edge of I guess it depends. If said anomaly is a sphere floating in the middle of the air, well then that's going to be kind of problematic. But if it's just like a solid wall, wherever the dust settles, it's going to eventually show us an outline on the ground of where said anomaly is. And so if we do that, we can find the edge and know where to avoid. And there'd just be, at least for us, it won't be a long-term marker, but at least for us, there should be like a,
We can try it. I don't know that we'll be able to really see like an edge to the dust when we're outdoors like this.
Yeah, I would just say like pine needles and stuff.
Yeah.
Probe it with a stick. There's like a tree limb we could break off. And
there you go. Well, we got to get to the other side of the road to get to the sticks, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely the east side of the road is definitely forested. So yeah, like how do y'all want to go about this? I've heard a couple.
I think I vote for the docks idea.
Okay.
We can use pine needles or leaves or something that we can tell it's standing out at least somewhat from the surrounding debris, and try and find the edges. And it seems like that it's going to take us across the road at this point. The main thing is just to not walk into an anomaly.
Right.
Yep. So just out of curiosity, do any of y'all have any dice near you?
I do.
I have a digital dice. This was a diceless system, so I did not bring a real dice.
No, I'm just this is just wanting a semi-random.
Yeah. Mia can roll it.
Okay. So, real quick, Doc.
Mm-hmm. What do you want me to roll?
Odd or even?
Odd.
All right, Mia, give me a roll.
Am I rolling a d6 or a...
Whatever you would like.
Anything that can come up odd or even.
Yep, go for it.
Came up odd.
Doc, you said even, right?
I said odd.
Oh, okay, excellent. So yeah, as you're doing this and you're moving across, a wind picks up that is actually blowing southbound. Well, like southwestern. That's going to give you a little bit more range on that. So yeah, you're able to, slowly make your way east, following along the perimeter of whatever this anomaly is. It leads you across the road and starts to lead you into the wooded area beyond.
So like heading like straight eastward?
Pretty much, at least for right now, for what your instruments can tell you and what you can deduce, like on the back of paper.
Yeah.
I'm assuming none of you have some like those really fancy advanced mathematics in this sort of area.
No.
Nope. 0 intelligence, 0 education.
Yeah. So at the moment, it feels like it's just going straight across.
Gotcha.
And it is going into the tree line.
Okay, well, I guess we just have to follow the perimeter of this anomaly until it turns south.
Yeah. As we're walking, I'm checking. Am I getting any like Geiger counter reading?
No weird radiation right here.
Okay. Compass is acting normal. I'm trying to think of like if there's anything.
Well, I mean, your compass is acting normal for being where you are.
Okay.
Which is to say, it's not really working very well at all.
Gotcha.
I mean, you can. You won't get that reference. Like every step you're taking, it's getting a new north.
Gotcha. No worries. Yeah, no, I was just trying to think of if there was any specific, reading or something that we could potentially use as a way to detect the edge, other than the.
So far, it seems pretty like. I mean, you can even like. There are definitely bits of this, or like you can tell that the edge of whatever this anomaly is, there is stuff past it. So it's not like, oh, it goes into the tree line and the tree line ends.
Gotcha.
It just seems to be like it goes into the tree line and there are trees past it.
But whatever we threw just doesn't appear over on that side.
Nope. And as you move, like, are you going to move into the into the trees?
Yeah, I guess we have to.
It?
Wait, before we do that, there's one more thing I want to do. I still have a few of these nuts with a cloth tied to them.
Oh, yeah, you do.
So what I want to do is go up to, using more debris and stuff to find exactly where the edge of this thing is. Go up real close to it, throw the nut in, but this time hang on to the end of the cloth.
Okay. Yep.
I've got some rope you could tie to that, even depending.
So does it disappear? Does it look like the cloth has been cut in half?
And can you pull?
Does it?
Pull
Yeah.
back?
Can I pull it back?
No, you cannot, because you're still holding onto that cloth.
Oh God!
The moment that nut hits whatever this anomaly is, Doc, Sanzara, Mike's gone. Mike is no longer here.
I'll see you guys.
Well, drat. Mike, where'd you go?
Wow.
I'm falling through the ages of mist.
He's
So
not.
how are you both reacting to that?
Yeah.
With shock and horror, I hope.
Yeah.
I was gonna say a little bit like Doc.
Yeah. Doc is questioning how many painkillers he took this morning and whether or not that could have affected his vision. And then he's kind of looking over at Sanzara, like, kind of that look of like, did that just happen, or,
Mike's my friend. I feel obligated to follow him. I don't know if it's safe or not, but
Yeah.
see ya, Doc. And then step through where Mike had just tossed the thing through.
We're going to bed early tonight, guys.
Oh, Doc. What? Okay. So, yeah, you walk into where that where you know that anomaly is, and blip, you're gone. Doc, you're the only one left here. What are you doing?
What would Doc do?
Doc would fucking leave, and we all know it.
Turn and run.
Doc's like, I'm gonna take my chances with the blue light in the toilet.
That's at least interesting.
Right. Shit. Yeah. And like Doc's gonna study like this on the other side of this anomaly, right? Where like there's stuff over there, but does that stuff seem to be moving? Does it look like there's wind on the other side? Do the trees on the other side of this anomaly appear to be moving as usual?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
Because you said we had a southbound wind.
Yeah. Oh no, none of the trees on the other side are moving with that. No, you know what? No, the trees are not moving with that wind. The trees behind you are moving with that wind.
Right, but not on the other side of that anomaly.
No. Oh no, I like that question.
Okay, are they moving at all?
I mean, no more or less than, when you went like Boy Scout camping and there really wasn't any breeze.
But
Like,
okay.
They don't seem to be like completely static.
Okay, so
They don't seem frozen.
okay.
But they're not blowing in the wind that is obviously blowing the trees directly around you.
Right. I'm gonna shout, Mike, Zara. Any response?
Bring pills.
No. What's Doc feeling right now?
Doc's trying to think if he could go back to Goatsucker and just report back that nope, you can't make it. That's an anomaly. I'll take the reward. But he's pretty sure that Goatsucker probably won't pay for that sort of knowledge.
Is Doc a little lost in thought?
Yes, Doc's trying to figure out, like, he's looking at the map, turning it, like as if somehow looking at this map differently will somehow come up with an answer, even though he really knows there is no answer. Like, okay, maybe if I look at this differently, there'll be the path.
Get the fuck down from there.
Although,
No,
yeah.
get the fuck down from there.
Doc's
Pardon me for a sec.
No worries.
Go ahead.
Get the fuck down from there.
Honestly, like as I think as you know, me as the doctor would be like, okay, weighing the options here is like, okay, do I step into this anomaly, potentially die, with no proof that there's anything on the other side,
Okay.
or does the doc say fuck that, I'm out. And head back and report that, sorry, Goatsucker, there's no safe way to get there, because he doesn't know if there's a safe way. He's just asking us if there is one, right? Because it does.
What he wants is for you to essentially scout this path from Klamath Falls to Lower Klamath.
Right.
He wants a route there.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to know what is on that route.
Right. So
while you're having this sort of existential crisis, let's cut to Mike. Mike.
Yeah.
Real quick, Sinzara, about how long did it take you to make that decision to step after Mike?
Just a few seconds. Like,
Okay.
he vanished. As I turned to the doc, it's like, Mike's my friend. I've got to see if he's okay. And bloop.
Okay, cool. So, Mike, you fling that nut out at this anomaly, and the next thing you know, you were looking up the road at that rest stop.
Like
A second or two later, Sinzara's next to you.
So when you say looking up the road at the rest stop, do you mean that I am in a different location than I was before? And I have...
Yes.
Am I also...
So when you were doing this, like when you were Like,
Yeah, I know where we were.
yeah, the rest. You were definitely like maybe 100 meters or so from where this rest stop is.
Am I
And it's
south of it or
in
north
front
of
you
it
up the
now?
road.
Am I south of it or north of it now?
South.
Okay, so I've basically teleported back a ways.
Yes.
I will. Am I still?
Sensora is there with you.
Am I still holding the cloth?
Yes.
I would like to turn around and toss it behind me again, but hold on to it again.
Nothing.
Well, that's
Stop it.
disappointing. This could have been a shortcut.
Shocked by what just happened. I'm like, look, you're in. I'm like, all right. This doesn't make any sense. How did we get all the way back here?
It's the zone. It never makes sense. Are we standing in the road?
Yes.
Okay.
You're in the middle of the road.
Okay.
The road is not in great condition. I mean, it's been 13 years, at least 13 years since it was last cared for.
Right, but also nobody drives on it, so it's probably just overgrown.
It's overgrown. It's cracked. There's probably some potholes in it.
Okay. Is that blue light still visible in the rest stop?
Yes. I mean, if you pull your scope out and look for it, you can see it.
I feel like the zone wants us to go see what that blue light is, but I don't wanna.
I can understand that. I don't particularly want to either, but I'm concerned about the doc now that he is not with us.
Well, did you step into the barrier when I vanished?
I did, yes.
Why?
I was concerned for your safety. You're, no offense, but you're younger than I am, and I kind of looking out for you.
Huh. Do you think it's safe to go back across the road? I guess we're in the road. Do you think it's safe to go back west and travel the same route we did?
I would think so.
This time not throw stuff into the barrier?
We seem to know where it lies now, so yeah, we should be safe for a while.
Yeah, we left a stack of rocks.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's what I would like to do, is just go back to the west side of the road and travel the same path again. See if we can catch up to the dock.
All right, no, that is totally acceptable. It is going to take you a little while to get back to him.
Right.
Maybe a little less time than it took you to get there initially, because you got a lot more confidence about where you're going.
Sure.
In the interim, Doc, what are you up to?
All right. Just for, to take the onus off of me, okay, what would Doc Ock do? So I told myself a roll of a 1 or a 2, he would head back to town and report that the anomaly is there and just consider it over. 3 or 4, he was going to stay there and camp and wait. Or 5 or 6, he was going to go head towards the direction of the mine that's on the map, and I rolled a 6. So Dr. Octavian, without knowing what had happened to the rest of the party, thinks, well, hey, maybe there's this wall, and maybe the mine is a way to go underneath the wall. So he's going to start heading towards the mine just to check it out. He's not going to go in it, but he's just going to go at least check it out.
Okay. I'm assuming you were going to continue to check the
Yeah.
way in front of you.
Yep. I've got a bunch of steel nuts as well.
You obviously do.
Yeah. We'll calm down.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
you're
Mia.
fine. We're fine for the whole first half of this.
What's
Can't
that?
resist laughing to that. That's actually really funny.
What happened?
Come here.
You said you had steel. Did you said steel nuts?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
technically what they are.
Nuts.
Steel nuts.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, now if I had said I have nuts of steel, that'd be different. But
No, that's so yeah, you're gonna be making your way a little northeast there.
right. If there's a trail, I mean, I imagine it's
I mean, you've got a vague idea of where you're
Right.
going. It's not like on the map. It's not just like abandoned mine and a dot.
right.
Like it's an actual like mining,
quarry
like
sort of thing?
industrial mining. Like
Complex.
yeah,
Got it.
like it's a place you should be able to see from at least a fair distance, assuming you have line of sight.
Okay.
Which you should have when let's see about here. You're probably not going to have decent line of sight for a bit because this is all going to be pretty overgrown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the trees aren't ginormous, but they've had a good 13 years to grow back in. I don't really know how big trees get in 13 years, but
Depends
Hey,
on the species. Pine
yeah,
trees.
and it's the
pine
zone,
trees-
so they can be weird.
Yeah, pine trees go pretty fast too. Or they can.
Yeah. So you're moving kind of little north, definitely east. Honey, calm the fuck down. Stop turning my tea boxes over. For reals.
It's a cat, guys. It's not
I was
his
gonna
wife.
say, JC,
Oh,
he
it
can
was
listen.
so good for the
I got
first
3
half of
cats.
this.
I know it is.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me. Leave that the fuck there. Come here.
Oh boy.
Join in. You can help out.
Yeah, maybe he can run the stream.
Yeah, I know. He'd be really good at that. He's a good boy. Look at him. Look at him. Look right there. Say hi to everyone. Say hi to the people at home, sweetie. Hi. Yeah, I know. I know. You're not really into that. But yeah, you're making it like east ways. Maybe a mile or so into this hike, you start the tree line to the north is thinning out, and the trees are thinning out, and you see that there are like pockets or piles of bones kind of not dotting the landscape, but there's some piles of bones kind of intermittent in that thinning tree line, and you can definitely see calm down. Abandoned mine seems to like run right past them.
With my binoculars, without approaching any closer, I'm going to look at the bones, and I'd assume as a medical doctor, which I happen to be, I don't know if you guys know that.
We're not even there, and you're still doing it.
That he would probably be familiar with, this, if he can from said distance determine like, okay, are these human bones, or animal bones?
Bones.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the ones you can get a decent eye line on, it looks like there are definitely some human bones in there. at least the ones that you can see well. I mean, these piles they're moderately high,
Okay.
and a lot of the bones in them are just all busted up.
Okay. And does this pile of bones look somewhat overgrown, or does there appear to be like relatively fresh bones, judging by the amount of plants that I would imagine
Yeah.
growing over a pile of bones?
They look relatively overgrown.
Okay.
But the grass seems a little shorter. No, it wouldn't seem. There's definitely grass sticking up through these bones, but
Yeah.
not a lot of it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess the I check my Geiger counter. Nothing's tripping on that.
No beeps or boops from there.
Yeah. While again, Dr. Fred is a medical doctor and is not scared by bones per se, the fact that there happens to be a pile of them outside of a human body, where they probably should have belonged in piles, means there was somebody or something that God killed here, and then something or somebody put them into a pile. So in either case, all alone, Dr. Octavian does not want to meet them. And so is going to make note and head back, double back where he was. Considering his quest complete, he is now planning to go back to Goatsucker to report that, nope, you can't get through, it's too dangerous. And that's it. And he's going to start heading back the way he came.
Okay.
So at what point do we meet each other?
I'm gonna say you both would have gotten to the. Yeah. Are you? Yeah. You would have gotten to the tree line where you first blipped around the time he first got to that thinning of the trees. What do you want to do? When you get to that where you were, and he's not there? What's your plan of attack?
My first instinct would be to look for a trail and see if he left footprints or something. I have significant abilities in this area, so I think if he walked a different direction, he would have left footprints or spoor of some sort.
You find it very easy to follow. He was not. I'm assuming Doc Fred wasn't trying to cover up his tracks at all.
No, and his brand new hiking boots I'm sure are leaving nice imprints since he's never really worn them before.
Okay. I would like to follow his trail then. I don't know if Sinzara wants to go after him or just consider him a casualty.
Yeah, we should probably look for him.
He's old and I think on drugs. We can probably catch him.
Yeah, if he's taking those pain pills more often than once or twice a day, he's probably not in the greatest of shape.
Yeah, let's go get him. If he's on enough of those pills, maybe we can take the rest of them from him.
I'm just imagining this bottle of pills is just a bottle of over-the-counter aspirin. It's just really worked up in everyone's minds as being oh, this is the good stuff.
The placebo effect works.
No, he loves the Vicodin.
I heard recently that there's a study that shows the placebo effect works even if people know they're taking a placebo.
Interesting.
It's very weird. I don't get why that is, but yeah.
Psychology.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay, so now my grapes can be pain relievers. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's go.
So yeah,
Let's
we
go
all
find
would
the doc.
definitely meet up about like so let's say maybe like the halfway point, like between where you parted ways and where Dr. Fred got close to that abandoned mine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Got too close. I like it. Freudian slip there. All right. So do I see them or do they see me first?
I'm gonna say that they would see you first because they're in better shape and they know that you are somewhere along this
Right.
like this specific route.
Right. I'm not expecting to see them.
So, Mike, let's hide and jump out and scare him a little.
How about we hide and jump out and punch him?
No, we shouldn't do that. He's an older guy. He might, he could drop dead at any moment.
Yeah, we'd have to carry him. All right. All right, we hide. And when he comes up, we're going to jump out. We're going to yell, "Zone!"
God damn it.
Guess what, Doc? We zoned ourselves right back.
To what? Where'd you guys go?
The rest stop.
I guess when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah.
It was like instantaneously transported us there.
Huh.
But we had to walk back.
And both of you went to the same spot.
Yeah, for
Okay.
at least a few seconds, it seemed pretty reliable.
Okay. So I guess the question is, so if this barrier is sort of repelling you back, what would be a method to get across that? While you guys were gone, I thought I'd take some time and go and check out the mine to see, I had the thought of maybe the underground passage could get us underneath this anomaly. But there's a whole bunch of piles of bones, some of them human, that are, again, stacked up in a way or near the abandoned mine. So I don't know if we want to venture too close to that location. Something or someone has been...
Well, I normally might say wolves or a mountain lion, but given that it's the zone, they've probably got like stabby tentacles and maybe a big long tongue that stings you.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and going into the dark of an abandoned mine is definitely no.
The chat says, "Get help." Do get help.
Stupid question. Do any of you have like a flashlight or a lantern?
So interesting enough, as when I was thinking back to the equipment and I went back to look, the book, because otherwise I was just going off of what was on the book, but the book doesn't actually list a flashlight. Even though there's text mentioning a flashlight, there is not a flashlight, at least to my knowledge, in the actual book. They have $1,000 night vision goggles, but not a flashlight. So, but I would assume we would have, knowing we were going to go out for multiple nights, that we would have at least taken a flashlight each.
I considered a flashlight. I actually didn't even find the equipment list. I thought we were just supposed to make up reasonable stuff. But I considered a flashlight, but I kept thinking, like, that just sounds like a big "here I am" signal. There were like 3 different abilities that I almost took a flashlight for, but I didn't.
It says electric torch.
There it is. Yeah.
That would be a flashlight.
Electric torch.
That's what I was
The camping
thinking.
gear.
The Eastern Hemisphere flashlight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha. I skipped past that. So I would assume Dr. Octavian would have bought one I just didn't recognize it.
I hear electric torch, and I actually first picture a cattle prod before I realized that means flashlight.
Yeah, I was initially thinking of just some sort of blowtorch or something, like an electronic blowtorch. But yeah, got it.
Or it's an LED torch with a battery life of several hours.
Well, again, when at that point I wasn't looking at the descriptions.
I'm really curious if they had given it a description.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think an LED torch would have a battery life of much longer. LEDs don't draw much power.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
So, what are y'all thinking of doing here? It's getting a little late at this point. Not just for us.
In game. Yeah.
Is hitting those western mountains.
Sun's getting real low.
It's getting low.
Let's. I don't know. Mike's instinct is to keep following the barrier, and see if there is an opening or a turn in it.
But this thing, I mean, we're pretty far into the woods, right? About how far are we, Jay, between, say, the...
I mean, you're about halfway between the road and the abandoned mine, but you would have turned off.
Right.
There's a point where your debris stopped hitting that barrier.
Because we were going north a little.
Because you were going a little northbound towards the mine.
Gotcha. Yeah. When I left afterwards, yeah. No, what my, Dr. Octavian's trying to think of is, okay, it kind of seems like this barrier is pretty straight. It doesn't seem to have any curvature to it like we would expect, like as if there was a fairly small barrier, right?
Yeah, it does seem to go for a bit.
Yeah, so we don't know how far it goes. Even if it is straight, that doesn't mean it goes on forever. We might be able to go around it.
Right. But if it's not curving at a fairly noticeable rate, then it means it's probably pretty big.
Here's what I think we should do. Go back to the barrier and follow it east until we feel like we're even with the mine. If the barrier continues past where that mine shaft is, then we consider going back and going through the tunnel.
Gotcha. So that's good. That is going to put us closer to the piles of bones. And if we're going to have to camp at night.
Well, the piles of bones, were they outside the entrance of the mine or were they further away from it?
They appeared in front of the mine, right?
They were kind of in front. They would be kind of between the mine and the rest stop.
Okay. So, yeah, we wouldn't necessarily be too close to the pile of bones if we were at the place where the tunnel intersects the barrier.
True. I'm just curious, not knowing what animal, beasts, cannibal,
Yeah, that's why going through the mine is my second option.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, whatever it is, if they range, because it was a pretty significant, to be a visible pile of bones, that's got to be a good number of people. So it's not like one person. It wasn't looked like one pile of bones for a person. It probably was like 10, 15, 20 people's worth of bones.
Well, let's not go by the bones then. I mean, the other option is just go home, right?
Yeah. You're right.
What do you think, Sinzara?
Not entirely sure. I think we still try to find a boundary to the barrier.
Yeah.
The mine just does not appeal to me, especially if there are bones. I would not want to be eaten.
So Jason, if we enact this plan and follow the barrier as far as where the mine shaft would go under it, does it continue that far?
Yeah. It
And
just seems to keep on going, but in a unnaturally straight
okay.
line.
I'm going to assume the answer is yes, but I'm going to keep going about a couple hundred yards past that and just make sure it still keeps going.
Yes.
All right, guys. So our choices at this point are walk into the barrier and see if it teleports us somewhere else, turn around and go into the death mine, or turn around and go back to town. Tell this guy you can't get there.
Now, like, if just thinking, or third option, right? So there's the mine, or so just judging, like trying to see where we're at, right? So this barrier was
So like at
bumped
this
up-
point, you're somewhere really close to that dotted line, and
Right.
blah, blah. Like maybe a few dots along that line.
But if we were drawing that line back westward, right towards where it says Volcanic Legacy Byway, where would this barrier line bisect? Was it like towards the V?
It was about halfway between the rest stop and the V, heading kind of a little
right at an angle.
little southeast.
Yeah, got it. So the other option, thinking out loud, is the river. Right? So like there's the options of other ways to potentially traverse this barrier is the mine, if it goes under it. Somehow the river, maybe?
I am going to do something here just to ease our conversation. If I show the map in this way, I believe you guys will be able to see my cursor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to shrink this a lot. Put it like this. So now I can point to stuff while we're talking about it.
Right. So it seems like the line cuts across from somewhere in the dotted line, like Jason was saying.
Yeah, it's going between like maybe between the third and fourth hash mark there,
Like
Okay.
here.
and about halfway between rest stop and V.
Okay.
So it's like this kind of.
Yeah.
All right.
The mine may actually be our only real option. I mean, the river takes us back towards the mountainous region. We may not be able to traverse the mountains.
Yeah, no, my only thought was if we took the river and somehow the river passed the barrier because it's water, then we could get out of said river towards that elbow by the V. But or we go to the creepy mine.
Yeah, the river seems like a way through, and not to metagame too hard, but I think we do want the story to progress. I think we all know that we're supposed to go in the mine if we want anything to happen.
No, not the mine.
There aren't bones in front of any other place.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can do abandoned mine. Go search it.
Yeah, I'm not confident the river will get us anywhere.
Yeah. Plus the danger of it, once you're in the river, you can't control or look ahead, which means you could get pushed smack dab into another anomaly and not know it.
Not to mention the fact that we didn't bring a boat.
Yeah. We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
No portage.
Yeah. I guess the abandoned mine it is.
Although, I don't know that I want to spend hours walking over there to find out, but I would be curious to know if the river water appears to move after it passes through the barrier.
That would have been a really good question to ask.
Unfortunately, I wasn't prompted with that information until after I went to hell.
So, or you don't have to walk that far. Just walk into the barrier again, teleport near the rest stop, and then you just have to walk.
I'll tell you what, you walk into the barrier, and then you can meet us at the mine.
Right. All right, so we're walking to the mine, I guess.
I guess. I've got my rifle out at this point, loaded and ready to fire.
I got my switchblade out.
I've got a pistol.
Okay. You brought a switchblade, Doc?
Yep. I got no guns.
That's it? You didn't even bring, like, a machete?
Nope. Switchblade.
It's like, here, have a look at this. I've got a machete I could loan you, but
Yeah.
I've got a Bowie
Maybe
knife, but I'm not giving it to you.
yeah,
Nope.
no, it's my machete. And my throwing stars, very precious.
You don't know how to throw those.
Ninja stars.
How many men have you stabbed with that switchblade?
Well, we call that surgery in my profession. But
You use a switchblade in surgery?
when you have to make do, you have to make do. you
You're
know?
you're a mob doctor. Just say you're a mob doctor.
I can neither confirm nor deny who my clientele have worked for, but when they need fixing, they come to Doc Doc.
They come to Doc Fixin.
Yeah. All right, show me these bones.
Yeah, so it's honestly the trip from where this barrier is back to the mine is pretty easy. It's lighter tree cover here, and you're able to make your way there pretty easy. Like I said, because I said easy like 5 times. And like approaching the mine facility, it's a big industrial facility for like processing. But, and I'm getting to it. There is one of the mine entrances does seem to be a little more reinforced than the others. But yeah, like you notice that on your way back. You are able to find and see. No, you don't even. It's not a toy. You are able to see in the dimming dusk these multiple piles of bones that are scattered across the landscape between the abandoned mine and the rest stop. There doesn't seem to be any real rhyme or reason to their placement.
Haley, look at the bones. What foul and cruel beast.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, all right. I'm going to see if there is a pile of bones that I can get to while still being relatively close to a hiding spot. And then I'm going to examine the area for footprints.
Like getting to any of those, they're all pretty much out in the open.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will look for footprints from hiding through my scope. If I can get up in a tree and look down at the ground.
You don't see any.
Guys,
But
the bones...
not,
Sorry,
like,
go ahead.
from what you're looking at, the bones look like they've been there a while. Like you've got, like, the doc may know bones, but you've got a lot more wilderness experience. And these bones look like they've been there a while.
Okay.
Bleached out pretty good.
Decently so. To the point where you, honestly, from looking at them, you wouldn't even expect to see a trail leading there from whatever these bones were left from.
Okay. Guys, there's no footprints, there's no trail. The bones have been there a long time. I'm guessing these are people that died in the visitation. And their bones are just where they stood.
Well, okay, well, they're not like... It's not like, oh, here's a pile of one person. It's more like, here's a pile of multiple
Okay, then someone or something piled up people who died in the visitation.
Right.
Well, but there's, like I said, there's multiple of them.
Yeah.
So hundreds.
Not hundreds, but like.
I mean, hundreds worth of people, or 50 odd plus.
I mean, probably. If I gave a number, it would be less than I'm envisioning in my head.
Okay.
But if I gave a number more accurate to what I'm thinking in my head, it would technically be a little too much.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I'm being a little vague about it.
No worries.
All right. Good night, Sarah. Thank you for watching. So I don't see any evidence that there is a living thing here now. So I think we have no choice but to cautiously approach the mine entrance.
Right. The one that looks fixed up of some sort.
I don't know what to make of that. It could be... Does it look like it's been reinforced recently, or just that it was the big mine entrance at the time?
Let's go with a little bit of both. It does look like it was the primary entrance to the mine.
Okay.
But Mike and Senzara, do either of you have any real interaction with the Institute?
No. I don't.
I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
Unless there was a connection there that you want to add.
Doc, I know you've had interaction with the Institute.
Right.
And
We've had run-ins.
yeah, I mean, it's not like you didn't used to work for them.
Nope.
So you recognize some of the light hand of the Institute here.
Okay.
I could not tell you what it is, but you, at the very least, you get the vibe that the Institute has something set up here.
Okay. Maybe like a forward outpost.
Whether they're still using it, who knows?
All right. So there's a good chance that maybe the dead bodies then were just cleared out of this building, or the Institute was doing experimentation on people in this building. I don't know. Yeah. So I think we should check it out. Is there any visible, like, cameras or surveillance equipment that appear to be...
You know what? That's exactly what clues you into it.
Okay.
There is not immediately noticeable, but there is a camera a little bit in on the mine entrance. But it looks like it's been knocked down and is no longer functional.
Okay. All right. I guess we can. I'll start with my Geiger counter out, checking for. I'll start heading towards the mine entrance.
Yeah, I'm going just behind you with my rifle, ready to fire over your shoulder.
And I'm watching our back, looking backwards over the trail we just traveled.
Well, I'm going to remind y'all, it is getting pretty dark. The sun is mostly set at this point, and you are heading into a dark, unlit mine.
You see there were buildings here? Maybe we could, like, shack up in a building.
Yeah, that was. I was thinking, like, is this like is this a door into the mine shaft, or is this a door to a building? Because my thought was, if we get into the building, we could either camp there for the night, but
This is an entryway into the mine shaft.
I mean, to Mike, there's not much difference in an uninhabited area between a building and a cave. Like, we're not going to see people in either one. But if you guys are more comfortable going into a building, that's fine.
Well, I mean, the problem we're going to have in the other case is we don't know what's going to be on the inside, whether a building or whatnot. So
Yeah, exactly. We have no idea what's in the cave or in a building, and we
Right.
certainly don't want to sleep outside if we have an option.
no, I was thinking like and I think Cenzara was thinking the same thing. If there was like a storage shed or some sort of small structure up above that we could easily clear, we could at least camp in that for the night, and then take the next daylight to make sure that there's nothing.
Yeah, like a tool shed or
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, y'all look around for a quick minute, and I'm gonna assume you were looking around like as you approached this whole area.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's say, like the mine processing facility looks pretty run down. But you do see it looks like a shitty shed, like corrugated metal, but it's got maybe like a couple windows on it, and Doc, when you were looking, you noticed this.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were looking, you're looking through your binocs, and you do see that there is a really faded, overgrown sign that says like administrative office. It doesn't look like a really well-built one, but it's there.
Like a one-story office.
Yeah, just a little. It'd be bigger than a shed, but it's not.
Is it like one of those units that's like kind of like a mobile home that's an office? You know what I'm talking about? Like out on job sites.
Something like that, but for some reason they built it out of corrugated metal instead of whatever they build those out of.
Okay.
So I'm going to say, you noticed that when you were approaching. As you were looking into the mine proper as the sun is setting, there is a small... trying to think of what this... it's not an office. It'd be like a little... not a reception area, but it's a little fucking box where someone would be to check people in and out of the mine.
Oh, like a security booth.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little bigger than a security booth, because maybe there's let's say it's also somewhere where you check gear in and out.
Okay. Front desk type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'd check that building out, because there may be even be equipment that we could use for our spelunking portion of the next
Doc,
phase.
you seem like you have a sense of what this might be, so I'm gonna go where you say at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check out, because I think the guard check, we would probably have good visibility into it, and maybe better chance of equipment. Some data or something, maybe a hint of what would tell us what was going on here.
Cool. Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna throw down. Which of these two places do you want to camp for the night? And then I'm kind of gonna call it, because I'm getting a little tired.
Yeah.
And that'll give me something to work up for next week.
Like I said, I'm following Mr. Fred's lead.
And yeah, Fred's just kind of thinking, I'm debating between what's a more secure location eventually, but at the same time, something that's more secure walking up to it, we're probably less likely to be able to see into it to identify any potential hazard inside. So I'm leaning more towards that check-in place that you were talking about, where the equipment may be, as being a place to go.
If you're putting the question to Mike, Mike might suggest we should pick the place that has more than one exit,
Good,
like a door and a back door.
Roger, totally agree.
Good plan.
Do either of them have a door and a back door?
Well, I'm going to say that little administrative mobile building.
Yeah. Okay.
It had a couple doors in it, like one on each end. And the checkpoint leading into the mine proper, from what you can see, has a door leading into it. Like I'm picturing it in my head, like it looks sort of like a carnival booth.
Okay.
But like enclosed with a large window. There's a door on the side, whoever works in that would get into.
Right.
And there's another door leading further back that looks like it must actually be leading into a structure cut into the rock.
Ah. Yeah, I think maybe more the admin building.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
Hunker down.
Sleeping in a mine office in a horrible alien wasteland.
What could go wrong?
Nothing at all.
No, nothing. All right. Well, I'm gonna leave it off. Just you all set up camp.
Okay.
We'll definitely set watches.
I was honestly kind of gonna leave till next session for that.
Okay.
I don't mind it being done right, like stated right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just because I kind of wanted the week to figure out what's in here.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
All right.
That's a decent place to stop.
Nice.
Great night, Jason. Thank you so much for running this.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait to see what eats our brains next week.
Well, I mean, y'all have been fairly risk averse.
Yeah. Well,
You know that there are things, but you don't know what those things are.
you don't last long as a stalker if you just run into things. I assume. It's my first day.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Yeti Hill. I see you're still in the chat. Sarah went to bed a little while ago, but anyone else who's watching but not talking, thank you as well. And we'll see everyone next week for the continuation of this, and on Friday this week for our 5th edition game, which has me and a bunch of different people. Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.